Hello everyone. I was gonna say I just finished my game, but I actually just had lunch and it was an amazing lunch. I had the yummiest lunch in the world. But I basically just finished my game, round 7 of Menorca Open, the tournament that I'm playing right now in Spain. Very strong tournament, and today I was playing against a very strong 12-year-old kid, okay? He's from Belgium and he was 12 years old and he was rated like 1930, but he was doing a performance of 2100 in the tournament. So he was having a good tournament. And yeah, I knew that when I was playing a 12-year-old that these kids are underrated. So I was really nervous coming into the game because I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I had the white pieces, so I was feeling pretty confident. So I'm gonna show you the game. And the game was, well, it has an insane finish, so do not miss the finish. So I had the white pieces and I started with the move d4 like always. This was a morning round, so we started at 10 a.m. and I actually overslept this morning. So I woke up at 9:30 a.m., which was like extremely late. Like I had to rush to breakfast. I ran to breakfast and then yeah, but I had time. Breakfast is important. So knight f6, c4, e6. I decided to go knight f3 just to avoid some Nimzo-Indian lines because I didn't want him to enter that. He played d5, I went knight c3, and then he played this move a6. Now this is very similar to a game that I had the other day, I think it was round 5. And so I played the same line, I played c5 in this position. And the idea of c5 is just basically that I'm kind of tying down black's position and I'm also preventing him from capturing my pawn and going b5. So he went b6, which is a good move, I took, and now instead of taking back, he went c5, which is different from what my opponent the other day did. So here I was thinking for a little bit, and they ended up playing e3. I was basically thinking about moves such as knight a4, and yeah, I was thinking about moves such as taking as well. But I ended up going e3, and I haven't really played this before. And now I thought that he was going to take my pawn, but he went knight bd7. And now I thought, okay, if you aren't taking my pawn, I will defend my pawn. So I played knight a4 defending it. Now the idea is that if you go knight takes b6, I actually have this move, d takes c5 or knight takes c5, doesn't matter, and I will be winning the pawn. So you cannot really do that. So instead he went bishop d6, and I just simply developed my bishop. He castled, I went rook c1, which was basically just with the idea of threatening this pawn. So when rook c1, he played queen e7, and now I decided to play a3. Now this move is maybe a little bit slow, but the reason I did it was because I wanted to go bishop e2, but I was worried that after takes, knight takes, that he would have bishop here for some reason, which apparently is incredibly bad for him, but I didn't know this during the game. So actually I think my move a3 is not so good because it's very slow. I should just have played bishop e2, and then I would have the position that I had, but with one tempo more. So I played a3, very slow. He played rook b8, and now I went bishop a5, defending the pawn. He played e5 in this position, which was the move actually that I thought he was going to play.
What will he do here now? He played e5. He played e5. But this is the mistake. And why is this the problem? No, this is not the problem. The problem is actually knight takes c5. This is the problem. Knight takes c5. Why is this the problem? You take here, bishop take here, and now we can go knight take e5. Is your opponent going for these tactics? This is not so good because knight e5.
And I decided to take this pawn. I cannot really take here because if I take, he's going to go knight takes e5, and I don't really want to take this knight because then he's going to be putting a lot of pressure towards b2. He's also going to be threatening d4, which is really scary with my king in the middle. So actually here, if I do something like bishop e2, the problem is that he's going to be able to either go knight c6, or he's also going to be able to at some point play d4. So this I thought was really scary. So I took on c5 instead, and then after takes, maybe I should take actually on c5, but I actually ended up going for the move bishop e2 because I just wanted to develop and castle really quickly. That was everything that I wanted. The reason I didn't take here was because I was a little bit worried that after bishop e2, he cannot take here because I have bishop b4, pinning the queen and rook. I was a little bit scared he would be able to push his pawns and just basically destroy my king. Takes, 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 castles. Yeah, I don't know why I was worried about this, because looking at this, it does look quite comfortable. Rook e8, there's rook e1. This pawn cannot really advance. This actually is very comfortable. This bishop cannot move because this is hanging. So actually, probably here, I should just have gone for knight takes and traded knights, keeping my queen here. Instead, I went bishop e2, and now this allows for knight takes a4, and so now my queen is actually in a worse position here than what it is here. So rook e8 was played, and I just simply castled. He played bishop b7, and now I was actually analyzing this crazy move, rook c7, but I ended up not playing it because it felt really terrifying to give up in exchange. But I was analyzing this with the idea that after this, I can go queen b3, threaten this bishop, and it's kind of hard to see how to defend it. You probably have to go bishop c8, and then, yeah, I can maybe go queen b6. There's nothing immediate, which is why I didn't play it, but this is really interesting. And I constantly saw these ideas, but I ended up just playing rook f e1, defending my bishop, once again preparing for the move d4, which I thought was a really scary move throughout the whole game. Because if he plays d4, then he's going to be activating his bishop, I kind of have some back rank problems, etc. So he played rook d8, and now I was thinking for a little bit, and what did I end up doing? Oh yeah, I ended up doing this move. Here, I think, honestly, probably would have been better to just play something like h3 and just kind of wait and see what my opponent does. Instead, I went for this move bishop b4, which I thought was really nice. The idea is that after takes and pawn takes, the idea is that even though I have these really ugly triple pawns, I'm now threatening to take on a6, because if bishop takes, I have b5. I'm also eliminating the bishop that was stopping my rook from entering the game, and actually, I'm going to be able to go queen a5, queen c5, or even rook c5 and double rooks. So here, if my opponent doesn't have anything immediate, this is actually a really comfortable position. So he went queen d6 attacking my pawn, and I ended up going queen a5 defending. And now the only thing that he can do, to try to have some counter chances, because I'm right now threatening to just go rook c7 or rook c5, double up my rooks and win the game. The only thing he can do is to go d4. Now just completely trying to explode the center, basically. And here I actually spent some time thinking because I'm Anna Cramling, but also because I had a lot of options here. Had a lot of different options. At first, I thought that what I was going to do was that I thought I was just simply going to take here. And then after e takes d4, I thought that I was just simply going to play something like, what was I thinking? Yeah, something like rook d1. This is at first what I thought I was going to play. I was also calculating what happens if I just don't care about this. What happens if I go something like rook c7? Well, then this becomes really scary after takes, bishop takes, and e4. And now my opponent gets these two passed pawns. So I ended up going for the move, actually rook e d1, which is a good move. He played queen e6, and now I went rook c7.
She didn't take on d4. What did she do? She played rook c7. But this is a mistake. Rook c7 is a mistake because now her opponent can take on f3. Her opponent can take on f3 and he will be better. Anna, he can take on f3. He will absolutely be better now.
Now, in this position, I should probably have just taken, and then just gone something like bishop takes a6. But somehow I was worried that this move would be quite good for him, which, looking at it now, it's not, because he doesn't have any pieces to attack my king, and this is just really nice for me. But during the game, I was a little bit worried about that. But I went rook c7, threatening the bishop, thinking it was really good to get my rook active. But now, after takes and pawn takes, actually, I have a little bit of a weird situation going on here. Now, I don't want to take with the bishop, because then e4 and then d3 come. So I need to take with the pawn. He took now on e3, which was actually the move that I thought he was going to do. Here, actually, if he goes e4, this is a very difficult position. It's a very strange position because I have this crazy, amazing passed pawn, but he's kind of bombarding me, or bombast. I don't even know what word I used the other day, and everyone went like, Anna, you just coined the new term. But he was, yeah, he's playing d3, and this is completely insane. Bishop f1, and then e takes f3. This looks really scary with my king over here. He's threatening, I don't even know what he's threatening, but this looks scary. But he didn't do this. Instead, he went pawn takes e3, and now looks like I'm winning. Now, let me tell you, this game from now on is going to become extremely crazy, okay? Because I'm going to show you why it is that I'm winning. And the reason I'm winning is an insanely long stockfish line that the normal engine, if you don't put this at very high depth, does not see. In fact, my mom couldn't see why this was winning. And I'll show you this in a second. But I took here, he took on f2, king takes f2, rook takes d8. I had 12 minutes on the clock here. I doubled the time of my opponent. I was feeling really confident. And at tempo, I played the best move, b7. I'm threatening right now, basically, to just, this pawn is very soon going to be queening. So I'm threatening moves such as rook c8 at some point. If this rook moves, I'm threatening this. I'm threatening to go rook c6 and taking this. I have a million threats right now. In this position, my opponent spends 3 minutes thinking, and he plays the only move he can play if he wants to have a chance this game. Knight e4 check. Now, in this position, I basically have 2 ways of winning. I spent like 10 minutes here because I was trying to figure out how I win. The reason he's doing this check, and this is a beautiful move, it's probably a brilliant. The reason he's doing this is because he wants my king to become extremely weak. So there's 2 ways I can win here. Either by doing the move that I did, or by going king f1. Now king f1, the reason I didn't play it, and I'm telling you, the engine is going to jump. The engine is going to jump. Was because after knight d2, king e1, queen f6, threatening to just completely crush me. The only way that I can really truly win is by playing rook c8, pinning this rook, and now after queen h4 check, there's king d1, and now there's, even if knight c4 or something, there's nothing because this rook is pinned. So queen there check doesn't work. So he has to go something like knight takes f3 check, I have to take, and now queen h4 check, I have to go king f1, only move, all other moves are draw, queen h3 check, king g1, and now this is going to be winning. This is the best thing he has. Now this is, well, I don't even know if it's more difficult or easier than what the game was, but in this position I ended up taking the knight. And I spent 10 minutes, not on taking the knight, but I spent 10 minutes on trying to figure out how to win from here. Because I realized that after queen f6 check, if I just move my king around, it's going to be a draw. I realized that for me to win, I must play bishop f3. Now, the engine is dropping down right now saying that this is a draw, but this is not true. This is winning, okay? The engine at this depth, I have it right now on depth 25, it doesn't see it. You need to go higher depth to see it. Let me show you the line that wins. And my mom, she did not see this. And, well, yeah, I think only people using Stockfish that were watching my stream saw it. And I think I would see this if I knew that this was winning. It's just that in my brain, I just didn't know. So, bishop f3. I ended up playing king g2, by the way. But bishop f3. Queen h4 check. Only move. King f1. Queen h3 check. I have to go king g1 so that there's no more checks. Now there's not any check. The only thing my opponent can do is take the bishop on f3. I saw this position, and the move that I missed was the winning move, queen d5. This move, like I'm saying, yeah, there we go. Now Stockfish realizes that it's winning. I missed this move. In fact, almost all other moves are losing for me. If I do not find this move, I lose the game pretty much. The only other move that I made, and this move actually I saw queen a1, but I thought this was so scary with rook d1 check. And actually I believe that this should be a draw now. I believe that my king cannot escape. So I saw this position in my brain when I was calculating if I should go bishop f3, but I thought here that there's a million ways my opponent can beat me because I didn't know to stop rook d1. Rook d7, there's queen g4 check. And this move, queen d5, never crossed my mind. But it doesn't stop here. After this move, there's a million checks. I mean, you can see where you want to check. Let's say queen e3. The point here is actually that my king will be able to escape, and I will sacrifice my queen. I will sacrifice my queen, and this queen cannot stop both the threat of b8 and rook c8. And there's not enough checks. Because after this, and check, I have the move rook c1, or I can go king a2. And so actually, I'm winning the game. But I didn't see this move queen d5 in my calculations, so I never dared to enter this line, because if I don't see queen d5, I lose the game. I'm just losing. So in this position, I went back and forth and I took a draw. This was the game. So the game ended up becoming a draw, and actually the first thing that happened after the game was that the dad came, well, first and foremost, me and my opponent, the 12-year-old kid, we analyzed and we thought this was a draw. Both of us thought this was a draw. My mom thought that this was a draw. In fact, my mom told me after the game, Anna, for a human, this is a draw. I mean, if you're not at least a grandmaster, right? I feel like I could have seen this if I just knew that there was a win, but in the game, not knowing that there's a win, it's a very different place to be in than in a tactic where you know there's a win. So yeah, I'm happy that I saw this line, but I just missed the move queen d5. If I would have seen it, I would have played this, of course, but I just didn't see that. So I ended up drawing. Me and my opponent analyzed a little bit after the game. The dad came rushing in and said, "Oh, Anna, you were winning." Because, you know, he had seen it on the eval bar that I was winning. But yeah, just honestly, just difficult, very difficult. But I'm not too upset about this. I see this kid having a really bright future in chess. He's only 12. He's performing really well. This might be the last time that I draw him. He might become an IM in like 2 years. So kids are terrifying at chess, and you know, this is no exception. But big props to my opponent for this game. Very strong player. So thank you so much for watching round 7 of Menorca. I am playing in a couple hours my round number 8. I'm very excited. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling good. And I'm getting a little bit of rating so far in the tournament. So it's not being a bad tournament at all. So let's try to win the last 2 games. That would be insane. And let's just play our very best chess. Thank you so much for your support. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're getting really close to 1 million subs. All right. Bye-bye. Wish me luck for the next round.